Hi class. My goal in making this video is to emphasize some points as you get started and explain a few things that are probably easier to understand via video. So the home page, and here you see me at the wave because the geology is fantastic here. If you can go, do some research to figure out how to get there and get your reservation and see it. This homepage is something that is easy to ignore later in the semester, but it does have a lot of good information. These helpful links, official Maricopa Community College course competencies are a listing of what is learned in each of the courses, module by module, topic by topic. So we follow that, and you'll want to know what's in there. Assignment tips are always good, specific to this class. How to create a PDF from a Google Doc is important, and also linked in some of the assignments, especially early on. The open education resources that we'll be using are listed here. Computer lab, that's a really important link and phone number and a place to go if you have issues. And 9 big ideas of earth science are good to look over, and other geoscience courses. Hopefully, unless you've already taken all our geoscience class offerings, you'll come back to this and want more after you've taken this class. There are a number of ways to get to the modules. There's a next button at the bottom of the page, and there's modules here, and over in the left-hand navigation menu that will also take you to the modules. All right, the adventure starts here. So let's get started is where there'll be included a link to this video that I'm making right now. And I should mention that this has a little more on the page than what you'll be seeing because I can't use the student view yet until I publish. Okay, so do read the introductory information, and you're obviously listening to the video. So overview, objectives, vocabulary, and assignment calendar. This is something that you'll see in each module. So an overview talks about the purpose of this. Don't just skip it. That's the main thing. There is often a lot of information. Maybe even part of it is debriefing on prior work. Objectives. Objectives for the unit. Sometimes these are also repeated, at least in part, along with the assignments that they're part of. Vocab is important. It's a very short list this time, and the definitions are done for you, but that's not usually the case. Usually longer, and you have to go to the work of learning. Okay, then the assignments table can be very helpful. Also, you have introductory reading and videos in this 0 module that I have an estimated time for, and I'll look at that before I publish and make sure that still holds true after all my revisions. Syllabus reading and quiz. Concourse syllabus is over in the left-hand navigation menu, and there is a quiz over that. And that is due on Wednesday. Super important. You'll see it mentioned again and again. That's to show that you are attending the class, you are interested in taking the class, so you get that done first. Okay, email your instructor, scavenger hunt and practice, introduce yourself to the class. Those are assignments. And you have your total hours and points. Okay, and explains down here, why some of these things are in here. And okay, March 22nd, you'll notice Wednesday is the only thing that's due on March 22nd, Wednesday. In the modules, there'll be something due on Wednesday, almost always, and the rest of the work will be due on Sunday. And on these due dates, up to 11:59 p.m. So this is an important point. There's just a little bit of the work that's due for the week due on Wednesday, and a whole lot more that's not due until Sunday. Okay, so Wednesday's assignments or assignments that are due serve as an attendance check. Has the student been into Canvas? Is it likely that they've taken a look at what is due by Sunday and budgeted their time? Make sure the answers to those questions are yes, of course. You really need to know and schedule your work for the week. There are estimated times for completion of assignments. Some students work faster, some work slower. You'll see where you tend to be as you complete the early assignments. And even if you usually complete work quickly, don't count on that and leave yourself just enough time according to the estimates given. And remember that you'll be doing 2 modules per week, doing a full semester's worth of work in half a semester. There's no time to procrastinate. Notice that the assignments that are listed have the time estimates also. It's not just in the calendar, but in the module, assignment by assignment. So also use these time estimates as a guide to the level of perfection that's expected. If the estimated time for the making of a video is under an hour, that should tell you that I'm not expecting 20 retakes, so that it's absolutely perfect. My videos aren't perfect, and yours don't need to be either. It's very important that you get into the class as soon as possible, especially this week, because you'll want to decide by the end of the first week if this class is a good fit for you. Can you keep the pace? Is this the information you want to be learning? Is this the course you need? You need to drop the class as soon as possible by the end of the first week to guarantee that you don't get charged. Okay, so you'll see the week's work available in the wee hours of Monday morning, and work is due the following Sunday night. Of course, in between, there'll be at least one assignment due on Wednesday, at least most modules. So by Sunday night, midnight, that would be the final deadline for the week. And know that assignments are not weighted. There's a final in the form of a portfolio that makes it, I should say, is worth many points. And there are quizzes that are checks for understanding. Point values are not necessarily very high, but they do make up 15% of your grade. You can use course materials on the quiz, notes, homework, labs, and so on, but there probably won't be time to look up everything. So look at the objectives, the vocab, the competencies. Make sure you've completed all the work. If you have questions, ask me. 15% of your grade is substantial, so make sure you understand the material. And save all your work for the class. Some of this work will be going into the portfolio. And if there should be a system breakdown or anything and grades are lost, if you need to produce that material again, make sure you have it. Always remember that I welcome questions. I hope you have a fantastic semester. Thank you for watching.